Welcome to our series of project analysis. Today we are talking about Pinery. So Pinery Residences will be at Tampines West MRT station. So actually in that vicinity itself, there's actually two projects that's gonna come out. So one is Pinery Residences and the other one is actually Resale. So Resale is a EC, Executive Condominium. So in this series, we'll actually be talking about the difference between the both of them, and people who are looking at Pinery Residences might also be afraid of how Resale is going to be priced at.
That's right. As you mentioned, the Pinery will be previewing actually this Saturday, right?
Yes.
Saturday onwards. Yeah, so we all know that this is going to be a pretty hot project, right? Because a lot of buyers have been asking Pinery on the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a mixed development. Of course, as a buyer today, you also definitely will have your concern, right? For Pinery, which is by the side, which is Resale also. So in terms of PSF, they are definitely going to be cheaper.
Yes.
Right. So of course, and further away, we also have maybe Tenet, which will likely fulfill their MOP when we TOP.
So Tenet is actually at Tampines North area. So last year in Tampines North area, there is also actually an integrated development, which is Parktown also.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So these are some of the competitions or competitors that I'm looking at. Parktown itself, I think we just got the price list for Pinery Residences. Parktown itself and Pinery Residences, they are actually pretty much about the same starting from price. We don't know exactly how much the Pinery Residences price is gonna be at until booking day. But from what we see, it will likely be about 2.5, 2.7 average PSF thereabout. Because the starting from is about 2.3.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, a lot of competition, and the last launch in the Tampines area, it was Parktown. Also, we have the EC, which is Oriel, right? AOT, right? Whereas for Oriel, actually, they did impressively very good.
Yes.
On the day one, right?
Yeah.
In fact, the first timer clear almost everything.
Almost all of the units,
yeah. So why are we sharing this with you, right? It's because, right, it means that people in the East actually have a lot of cash.
Yes.
For EC, actually they need to have a lot of down payment.
Before they sell their house.
Definitely.
Then for first timer, they don't have a house for the bridging loan.
Yep.
So if let's say they're going for the normal payment scheme, it's going to be 5% cash, and then 20% if they're going for the deferred payment scheme, they need upfront 15% cash or CPF.
Correct.
Which is quite a significant sum.
Yeah. So for second timer, of course, maybe some of them they have already sold their HDBs already. That's why they're upgrading to EC. And then when they sell it, probably that sum of cash proceeds will help them with their down payment, right?
Yes.
But one thing on the ground, right, we were at Tenet, we were at Oriel before. We noticed that actually all these first timer actually had a lot of helps from their family members because they are young, they probably don't have a lot of cash. Yeah, so I met a client yesterday at a landed property who was saying, I wanted to help my daughter to down pay for their purchase of the EC, but then she don't want. So there are actually such people around. Yeah, and then we all know that, right, Pinery is going to be a very hot project. But the question here today is whether will the developer launch at a high price. Yeah, but from what we see, the starting from price, as you mentioned, is 2.3 XX PSF. And also with this, how are we going to understand how the developer will price their product at? Yeah, so today we will be covering how to actually find a sweet spot in this entire project. Because definitely in a project, there's some units that is high, there's some units that's low, and where is the exact sweet spot that we should be looking at? Right?
Okay, so today, the content-wise, first project information, we will talk about the unit mix, the distribution chart, the layout. The second thing, we're going to find out what is the sweet spot pricing in a new launch. So we have different types of analysis because usually developers use different loading.
That's right.
In terms of whether is it unit loading, view loading, or even per floor loading. So from there, we will determine which is the sweet spot for Pinery. Last thing, we will go in depth onto the layout analysis, and from there we will also talk about what is the difference between Resale and Pinery. Why we are talking about Resale is because it's just diagonally opposite us. Yeah, so in terms of amenities wise, they are sharing pretty much the same amenities, and from there we'll see how do we exit safely.
Yeah, because why? During launch, right, I always say this, you have a very good number, but then you don't know what to choose, right? And at the end of the day, you'll be too overwhelmed, and worst thing is you choose the stack that's wrong. Rather, not say wrong, maybe potentially could not make as much as your neighbor. So this is the last thing that we want to happen to our clients over here. Okay?
Okay. So we go through the project information. So the developer is actually by White Hub. It's a mixed-use development. Okay, so they have total about 588 residential units, walking access to Tampines West MRT station.
Yeah. And it's going to be an underground linkway actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
although we are mixed development, we are not integrated, right? Integrated
Yes.
machines is like right below.
Within.
But we have an underground linkway all the way to the Tampines West MRT. Yeah. So it's as good as integrated already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fully sheltered
Yes,
because
that's
it's
right.
underground,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So commercial mall, the mix is actually quite a healthy mix. They have restaurants and retail, okay, supermarket, childcare center. So if I'm not wrong, the supermarket will be a FairPrice supermarket, and then the childcare center will be a Mulberry childcare center.
So the commercial mall for 11,300 square meter, right, is not a very huge kind of mall, right, compared to other integrated developments or mixed development. So it's like kind of a smaller scale kind of mall, but not say very small, so right. But over here we can clearly see that, right, the majority of the sizes of the different retails, restaurants, right? Yeah, about 9,000 over square feet and 1,001. Because there will be some integrated or some mixed development where the developer actually allocate more for like maybe children items, kids enrichment centers, right? But for this, you can see it has a very good mix where actually main focus over here is more on retail and restaurants over here. Yeah.
Why they managed to get such a good mix is because if you realize the retail space is actually not sold, so likely Hoi Hub will be the one that is going to manage the whole entire retail space.
Right.
So when developers are able to manage the retail space, right, they are able to get tenants that is suitable for that market mix. Then they will be able to control what kind of tenants that come in.
Yeah, definitely.
So then it becomes a bit more comprehensive.
Correct, because some developers can maybe bring in pretty good brands, good franchise of restaurants, retails. So that is very it's actually uncertain, right? Over here because we still don't know what are the brands. Yeah, but again we are not Tampines West. We are not in a very central kind of location, right?
But we are just one stop away from Tampines.
Yeah. So we are really not sure what kind of brands the developer might potentially bring in. Over here. Okay. So for car park lots.
Car park lots, there will be 474 car park lots for residential car park lots, and then for commercial car park lots, there will be 164. So actually quite a huge amount of car park lots right here. For residential, it's almost 3/4 there about. Even though you are a mixed development which has direct access to the MRT station.
Yes.
Okay. This is the site plan. Okay. In this area here, there's actually a pond. Okay. Whereas for the rest are like this area, the top area. Okay, this area right here. Okay, they are all HDBs. So view-wise, if you ask me, not much good views lah.
I think when people buy Pinery, I think they won't be buying for view lah. Definitely, it's going to be more for convenience, amenities, right? Yeah.
Okay. So this is a bit of the distribution chart.
Yep. Something I want to highlight over here for the site plan is that usually for mixed development, for example, North Point or maybe what's that called? Waterway Point, right? Yeah. So if you realize our mixed development, usually the entrance is not very grand one.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a separate residence entrance. They have a visitor entrance, right, over here. So I would say that it's not very grand compared to the full condominium, right? Because they don't have a car porch area. Yeah, usually it's in the basement, right? Yeah. But over here, people buying the Pinery, number one is they want convenience, right? Yeah, so over here, for the parking wise, the residence parking don't allow visitors to park inside.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Waterway Point. Yeah, so for residence parking, it's for residents. For visitors, they have to park at the mall section. Yeah. So over here, I think for our visitors, it has to be convenient for them to get to the unit itself. Because some of the mixed developments, we see that after they park at the visitor parking, then they find it very hard to find the residents' lift. Yeah, so they have to change lift.
But then there's another concern because if it's too easy for people to find, right?
Yeah.
Then security might be an issue.
Yes, because
then the residents gonna be staying in Pinery will be like, it's so easy for like visitors to just enter into the condo.
Yeah, security reasons lah. Yeah. So for Pinery, every block will have their own direct access to the mall, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe there should be a certain form of security, maybe a leave with access card with. It's uncertain, correct? Because developer never tell us this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but likely I feel that they should provide this at least. Yeah.
distribution chart, maybe we'll talk about a bit of the unit mix. So unit mix is starting from a 2-bedroom all the way to 5-bedroom. Okay, if you talk about the unit mix, for 2-bedroom, right, there's different types of 2-bedroom, and the unit mix for 2-bedroom comprises for about 43%, which is quite a lot.
If you are going for a 2-bedroom in Pinery, we may not have a lot of competition.
Yes.
Yeah, why? Because for ECs, right, mainly they are from 3, 4, 5-bedder onwards. Yeah, so in the vicinity, we don't have any 2-bedders. But that also means that it depends on the entry price you're going on for the launch day. Yeah, correct.
Competitions-wise, I think, because if you talk about Tampines developments, right, most Tampines development, it's away from the MRT station. So if you are looking for something that is nearer to the MRT station, previously in Tampines North, then there will be Parktown. Okay, then for EC, there will be Aureal of Tampines.
Yes.
Whereas now, Tampines Central, in that area, there isn't much of the condo near to MRT station. So Tampines West is the next one. So if let's say you're talking about Tampines West MRT, then it will be Pinery, which is also why, because it's such a close proximity to Tampines MRT station, which is the Tampines Central itself, then there will be a lot of people looking at Pinery, which is why a lot of our clients also looking at Pinery itself, because most Singaporeans, they want the convenience, the accessibility.
Right at their doorstep.
Right at their doorstep, yeah. So being near to MRT station with such a good railway network, right, is actually pretty awesome in Singapore. They don't want to take a bus stop to the MRT. Yeah. For 2-bedders wise, we can see that appeal. It's a mixture of own stay and investment. So if you talk about investment wise, then it makes absolutely a lot of sense. Why? Because if you talk 2-bedders, right, if you compare a 2-bedder in near MRT station and 2-bedder maybe 3 bus stops away from the MRT station, in terms of tenant mix wise, then there will be a lot more people trying to rent something that is near to the MRT station. Yeah. Okay. So for 3-bedder wise, there's a lot of different types of 3-bedroom. 3-bedroom with house shelter, 3-bedroom with house shelter with and study. Okay. Total unit mix is about 35%. Okay. And then the 4-bedder will be about 20%, and then the 5-bedder will be 2%.
Yeah. So for the 3, 4, 5-bedders, I think we have to be very careful, especially on the exit timing, right? Because there will be ECs, fulfilling the MOP around the same time as with TOP, and then further down the road, there will be Resale who will fulfill the MOP, right? So we have to be very careful when to exit.
Yes.
Correct. Because otherwise, you will be very much affected by, Aureal, Resale, because they are pretty much nearby over here. Yeah. Correct.
And the people who got Aureal and Resale, they got it at a much more affordable PSF.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Then we need to see what is the competition. If say you're getting a 4-bedder, will a 5-bedder in Aureal or 5-bedder in Resale be too close to you in terms of the pricing wise? Then how are you going to exit in the future?
Correct.
Yeah. So we'll elaborate more about this when we talk about the layout analysis. Okay. So next thing is, how do we spot the sweet spot pricing in new launch? Okay. So 2 things to highlight. So first thing, we have to identify the USP of the project. So every project have their own USP.
Okay. So for example, with the most recent launch last weekend, what was it? Recent launch?
River Modern.
River Modern, right? River Modern by Guaco Land. Yeah. So then again, for River Modern, what is the unique selling point? River facing, correct.
The view.
And then if you're going for, let's say, the upcoming launch, which is happening in April, let's say Villa Bay, what's the unique selling point?
Sea view.
Sea view facing. And then if you are going to buy something in the, maybe near River Modern area, maybe let's say Zion Grand, then what will be the unique selling point?
High floor. Yeah.
So different developments will have their unique selling points, definitely, right? So in this case, for Pinery, what would be the unique selling point, which we'll be covering later, right? Yeah. And then also, we also want to think, other than the unique selling point, we also want to know what are the things that the developers are looking for, price their development over here.
So we need to identify what is the developer's pricing strategy.
Yes,
from what the developer's pricing strategy be, okay, then we are able to find what is the sweet spot. Because why? In order to know what the developer's pricing strategy is, we don't want to overpay and not buy into their USP. Okay, so for the unique selling point for Pinery Residences, right, first thing is mixed development. Mixed development all the blocks leave, actually direct access to the mall.
Correct.
Okay, there will be difference in terms of the distance
To the
the
MRT.
food court, to the
court.
MRT
That's
station, and things like that. Okay,
Correct.
second thing is that it's extremely convenient. Why? Because there's a fair price right below. The other one is there's a link way to
the MRT.
Tampines West MRT.
That's right. Yeah. Good thing about this is like House Pinery is a mixed development, so it has this feature of being integrated to the Tampines West MRT over here, right? And that means that it's going to be very convenient for the people who buy into Pinery. But does that mean that every unit in the development will be good to buy? Right. So today we'll be using the USP to understand what are the buyers they are looking for. Yeah.
Okay, so if you talk about this, there will be different lift access through different blocks. For all of these lift lobbies, right, I would think that the lift lobby will be the most ideal one for Pinery itself, because it's the one that is nearest to MRT station.
MRT station.
Yeah.
And over here, actually, the developer have also indicated that the placement or where the F&B is going to be at, right? Yeah. So we already know that the F&B, the food court area, is in the blue area over here.
So right
yeah.
here.
What do you think is more important? Is it the supermarket that's more important, MRT is more important, or food court is more important?
MRT.
MRT,
Because if let's say you don't work from home, you have to travel, and then you don't have a car.
Correct.
And your main transport is just MRT, then you have to use the MRT every single day.
Every single day, yeah. Because supermarket, you don't go to supermarket daily, yeah, but you go to work daily, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then buying the Pinery because you want the convenience.
Yes.
You will use MRT every day, and then of course maybe it's the owner or maybe their children, which is going to be very important for their families. Yeah. Other than distance to the MRT, next is going to be the food court, and that's the reason why I say second most important into Pinery will be the highlighted in blue area lah.
First is this, right? And then this is considered also quite first lah, because it's actually pretty near to the MRT station. Okay, this will be our second choice. And this, if say, unless the pricing are pretty affordable, okay.
During launch day, right, for those that are nearer to MRT, are so much higher than the I would say the facings below, right, are so much higher. Then maybe you want to consider those below. So it depends on during launch day, how is developer going to price that, because you only have the short maybe 5-10 minutes to decide what you want, right? Alright. Yeah. To be particular, we also want to narrow down where the developer is going to potentially load their premium at. Yeah. So do you think that it's going to be more on the ones that's near to MRT?
We don't know. That's why we have the different types of developers pricing strategy right here. So the first price loading will be per floor jump. Okay, the second one will be on the view facing. Okay, for river model, we know that it's actually first the unit type. Okay, the bigger unit type actually has the most of the premium. The second one is actually the view, which is the river view. Okay, these are the three price loading that we're looking at. Okay, per floor jump, view, and then unit type. Okay.
But by understanding all these, it can help you to change your strategy on during the launch day, right? And then if you really want to understand in future, even for this one, maybe your track number is not good for some reasons, for other developments, or if you have already placed a chat for balloting and you want us to to maybe share with you more on how we actually select units for our client, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to share more with you Yeah.
Okay. For example, if say because Hoi Hub is actually quite well known for their floor loading strategy. So actually, from let's say when we talk about the previous few launches, which is the last few launches that Hoi Hub did was Key Residences. Okay, Key Residences, averagely they are going for about 0.5% per floor jump. Okay, but once you reach about mid floor onwards, okay, there is actually a bigger premium per floor jump at about 2% right here.
So there's a major jump after their standard normal jump.
Yes. So like from level 2, level 3, 5 per floor jump is about 0.5%. Then from level 6 to level 7, then there's a big premium jump of 2%. Then subsequently it goes back to 0.5%. Yeah.
So let's say during launch day, the balance unit, are the ones that is like furthest away from MRT, but then you get maybe from level 5 onwards. Do you think can buy or not?
Furthest away from MRT.
Furthest MRT,
and then
from
level 5 onwards, then cannot buy.
Okay. But if you say the one that's nearer to the MRT, and then left from 10th floor and above, is it going to be okay to buy?
Then you have to see what is the price premium that you're actually looking at.
Correct, yeah. But I feel that it's still going to be okay, because you see, the major jump is over here. Yeah, level 7. Yeah. And then after that, it will be a 8K jump, 8K jump, 8K jump. All right. So in this case, if only left 10 floor above, maybe 8, 9, 10 floor above, I feel that, or maybe we should just choose as good as maybe the 9th floor or 10th floor.
Yes.
Rather than just going at here. Since you are already paying for a premium already, so might as well you go for something that's slightly higher above than this. Yeah.
Okay, so if you talk about Continuum, okay, it's
Also
a
by
freehold
Hoi Hub.
development, also by Hoi Hub. Okay, actually per floor jump, okay, it's actually 0.5%. This is a bigger unit size lah, okay? And then once they reach level 6 and level 7, there's an increase of 1% jump.
Yep.
Averaging Hoi Hub, the increase in jump is about 1% to maybe 2%.
Correct. So you see developments by Hoi Hub, they have been using this floor loading kind of jump strategy. You know, it's a similar jump between the key residence and then as well as the continuum. So again, we are not sure whether because sometimes developer may change their pricing strategy.
Yes.
Right. So we will know, which is why we must understand at the point of time, developer come like this, we must quickly think.
Yes.
Yeah. And then know how to choose.
And we can only think during booking day itself.
Correct.
So right before you go into a queue, going into the room to book the unit, then you will see the price. And then from the price, you will need to be able to decipher and figure out which is the best unit for you.
Correct. So you must also know, because you won't have the full price list. Correct. So you must also know what are the questions to ask or what are the unit price that you should be asking for, the low floor, the high floor, the facing, what are the difference in price, so that you can analyze quickly and choose think that which stack is the best to buy. Yeah.
Which stack is the best
yes.
sweet spot.
Safest to buy.
Yeah. Okay, if let's say we're talking about the price, the loading based on the per floor jump, okay, where is the sweet spot? The sweet spot will likely be the nearest to the MRT station, okay, and then low
to mid floor, okay.
Yeah, because why you are buying into the unique selling point of the project, that's number one, and we are not paying a premium for it.
Over here, is there a good view area? Mainly they are facing HDBs lah. Maybe the good view one is maybe facing the park, the greenery, and maybe another good view is definitely going to be the pool facing.
Pool facing.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate again, okay, what sweet spot means is buying cheaper than other units while purchasing it into their USP. Just like we said, the sweet spot for the per floor jump strategy, okay, pricing strategy that the developer's going to give, it's going to be the nearest to MRT station, low to mid floor. Okay, and then the least ideal one is the furthest block away from the MRT station and high floor lah. Yeah, but then you also have to see on the booking day itself what is the price premium you are paying between the furthest block away from the MRT station high floor and the nearest to MRT station high floor.
Yep,
Then from there, then you can decide whether is it still a good buy to you or not. Okay.
Maybe for the pool view facing, let's say, I likely will be more expensive than the HDB facing lah, right? And then greenery view maybe is also going to be expensive, as compared to those that's
so
HDB.
If let's say the price loading is based on the view facing wise, definitely like what you say, the pool view facing will definitely be the one that you're going to pay the premium for. The HDB facing will be the one that you're probably not going to pay a premium for.
Correct.
Okay, and then this park facing will also be a one that you're going to pay a premium for.
Yeah, but the thing is, the units that are facing the HDBs, right? Facing the HDBs over here, right? And then they are also the one that is nearer to the MRT
station.
I mean, does that give you an advantage of having the convenience, and then you are not paying a premium in terms of the facing, but yet buying into the unique selling point of this development, right? Because you are the nearest to the MRT, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Or maybe if there's a view jump, facing the greenery, then maybe you don't want to prioritize the one that's facing the greenery lah.
But to be honest, if you are even if let's say Hoi Hub is gonna do like a view premium, likely here will be one of the most expensive stack right? So this will be the most expensive facing unit. So it's just that the setback is a lot wider as compared to like maybe right here. But eventually you'll still face a HDB. Yeah, so that's something that y'all can think about. Do you want to buy based on the view, or would you want to buy based on the unique selling point of the project?
Yeah, I mean, people definitely do like to have a good view lah. Maybe have for privacy reasons, block to blocks are further away. Like let's say, for example, if you go into seaside residences, East Coast area, right? You want to buy something into a sea view, or sea view facing. But if it's a sea view facing, but then it's very far from the entrance, right? Does it really matter? I don't think it matters lah, because over there people are actually people want to go into the view only.
Yes.
Alright. So again, people who are buying Pinery, what are the people looking for? People are looking for definitely going to be the convenience and not going to be the view, right? So if you want to buy into a view for facing, I don't think people will want to come Pinery lah. Alright. So I feel that we should always understand what is the USP of the development, which is convenience. And that's the reason why first thing to do is to always identify the USP.
Okay, so if let's say the price loading will be on the view facing wise, we still recommend the sweet spot to be the block nearest to the MRT station, okay, and mid to high floor. Because you'll be buying into the unique selling point.
Yeah, because why the loading? If the loading is not on the high floor, right, then it won't be too expensive.
Yes.
If the loading is on the high floor, and then we should go for where? The low to mid floor then.
Yes.
Yeah.
It might feel a bit confusing lah, okay, but then you need to be very sure that your agent will be able to understand every single strategy, because we wouldn't know what the pricing strategy will be until the booking day itself.
That's right.
Yeah. So you also need to ask the correct question, okay, to your agents, so that you'll be able to benefit from it. Okay, but if let's say the price loading is based on the bedroom type, so nowadays some of the developers, they actually like to load the price loading at
on a bigger
unit type.
Yeah, bigger units.
Yeah, like for example, a lot of the River Valley developments, the loading was actually at the 4-bedder. 4-bedroom.
Over here we have the 2, 3, 4, 5-bedder.
Yes.
Alright. Let's say do an example over here. We have 2, 3, 4, and 5-bedders over here. And then let's say if the 4 and 5-bedders has the highest loading, and then so this one is highest loading first. Alright, highest loading. And then the second highest loading goes to maybe the 3-bedder over here. Alright. Then which one do we consider? Alright. I think 3-bedroom definitely still can consider, but we also need to take note of the exit strategy when it comes to buying into the 3 rooms, or rather the larger floor plates in Pinery, because of what is available in the EC market that is going to MOP around the same time when we TOP. Right? So we have to consider your exit strategy as well. Yes.
So you may also consider 2-bedder, because if let's say you are buying into the USP, which is walking distance to MRT station. If your main aim is for investment, then you might actually consider 2-bedder, because your competition might not be as much.
Yep.
But you also need to buy into the correct block. That's number one, and the ideal unit layout.
Yeah.
Okay. From what we say here, so just to recap, so because there's different lift lobbies, so our first choice for lift lobbies wise will be this. Okay. Our second choice will be here. And then our final choice will be right here. Okay, so this is very important, because we want to buy into the unique selling point of having like the walkway access to MRT station. Okay, so now we'll talk about the layout. Okay, so we'll start from the 2-bedroom layout. So 2-bedroom layout, there's actually 3 types of layout right here. So this is the only dumbbell unit that we're looking at. For this and this will be the conventional layout that we are looking at.
For the type B2, what I noticed is that it's going to be pretty cramped at the dining and the kitchen, because the dining and the kitchen is together. Yeah, so the usable space is not a lot, And the bedroom too, I also noticed it definitely. I think it will look darker, right? Yeah, because it has only a small window component.
Yeah, so it's just right here.
Yeah.
If let's say you're talking about like if you're gonna stay in the unit and at the same time gonna rent out one of the bedroom, right? Actually, this bedroom is actually pretty good. Why I say so is because if you realize that the common bathroom is right here, so they have 2 bathroom in total, 1 common bathroom and 1 master bathroom. Okay. So if let's say you cordon off this space, you don't let the tenant cook, or if let's say you just have like a table right here for the tenant to use induction cooker to cook, because at this area is just induction cooker only. Okay, you actually have your dedicated living and dining space while still renting out one of the bedrooms.
Like a dual key kind of situation.
Yeah. So actually, in terms of investment wise, I feel that this one actually not so bad. Even though when you see like that, you feel that the layout is not the most ideal one, because these two layouts are the one that we see pretty much very commonly. This one is more of the, a bit of the unconventional kind.
But what I do notice is that the 667 type B3 unit, right? Actually, they have much lesser units over here as compared to the type B1. Yeah, but we must always remember that for 2 bedrooms, buyers out there, is mainly mainly for investors. So for investors, why quantum is also going to be very important. Yeah.
So you need to be a bit more price sensitive in this case. Okay. So our top pick for the 2 bedroom will be the B3. Why we compare it with the other two is because there is actually a more usable space, okay? Because you come in here, there's a very good kitchen space right here, even though it's a galley kitchen, okay? And then you have a dedicated dining space right here, okay? So you have a pretty wide living and dining area, and then the 2 bedrooms, can put a queen size bed for the common bedroom, okay, and then king size bed for the master bedroom.
But actually, I also prefer the 624 square feet, depending on the pricing on that day. Yeah. Why? Because they actually have pretty much similar things as you mentioned. The kitchen, they have the many similar things. So, and it also depends on where the 624 type B1 is going to be located at, because with that, we can then relate it back to the developer pricing strategy. Yeah. But ultimately, I think that maybe the 667 might be easier to dispose.
Yes.
But however, the 624 square feet type B1, right, might profit for it might be higher.
Yes.
Just that it may take a slightly longer time to dispose. Yeah, as compared to the type B3.
So the only difference between B1 and B3 other than the the size difference, is actually for B1 it's the layout, and then for B3 will be the conventional layout. Okay, so there will be type B4, which is the 2 bedroom plus study. Okay, then when you look at the 2 bedrooms plus study, okay, 700 square feet about. So this area, okay, when you walk in, there will be a dedicated kitchen area instead of a galley kitchen right here. Okay, and they have a dedicated study area right here. Okay, and this one right here, right, if let's say you want to build in your walk-in wardrobe and stuff like that, you can actually hack off this wardrobe space and then hack off this wall and then extend your bedroom.
So it's going to be
here.
2 junior, a master and a junior suite.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, the junior suite might look larger if you do this. Do it this way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this is 2 bedroom plus study, so you need to be sure where it's placed at, because in terms of size-wise, it's significantly larger than.
Yeah, but the thing is, for the 2 bed plus study at Pinery, right? One thing I know, every of their stacks here, they are actually facing the pool facing unit. That means the inwards facing units. So, and then that's going to be depending on where the loading is going to be. So if they jump from per floor kind of strategy, right, and then you probably may want to take the pool kind of facing. Yeah, but if they jump based on the view facing, which is just like I mentioned, greenery, premium facing, pool might be also a premium facing as compared to the HDB, right? Yeah, so if the jump is going to be based on the view facing, then probably you want to go for the non-pool facing.
Okay, so now we talk about the 3 bedroom and the 3 bedroom deluxe. Okay, for 3 bedroom wise, okay, we'll start from the type C1, 807 square feet.
It's compact 3-bedder.
Yeah, compact 3-bedder, and there's 48 units in total. So I think the size itself, it's pretty standard. Okay, so coming in here, there's actually a storeroom right here. Okay, and then there's a dedicated kitchen, almost enclosable. Okay, dedicated dining area, and this is almost like a dumbbell layout where the common rooms are right in these two direction, and also they have a master bedroom. But for this 3 compact, you realize that there's actually no windows at the
so it's going to kitchen and the bathroom.
The kitchen and bathroom.
Yeah, so it's going to be darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you talk about the 3 bedroom deluxe wise, okay, 3 bedroom type C2, okay, starting from 861 square feet, okay, 24 units in total. Okay, for the 3 bedroom deluxe, both are actually conventional layout. So, okay, coming in here, they have their own dedicated dining and living space. The good thing about this is that they have windows in all the kitchen and the bathroom.
The C2 is also an inwards facing kind of stacks.
Yes.
Yeah, C2.
So for type C3, 872 square feet, okay, the difference between C2 and C3 is actually this wall. way.
So you have privacy lah, because the C2 actually, when you open door, it looks directly into your dining, your living area.
So in terms of C2 wise, you might need a bit more creativity in terms of where you're going to put your shoe cabinets, because this area kind of seems like quite small. Okay, but if let's say you're looking at C3 with a bit of floor area in size jump, about 11 square feet size jump. If let's say the prices are not too far away, I would actually recommend C3.
Yeah.
Why is it so? It's because that you
The
actually
privacy.
can put your
Shoe cabinets,
first, there's privacy. Second, you can put your shoe cabinet.
So for actually C2, C3, they have pretty much functional layout lah. Just that C3 gives you more privacy over here. But to highlight, actually C3, right, they have both facing, the HDB facing as well as the inwards facing. So by going for the C3, right, actually gives you the flexibility to change your mind during the booking day, because it all depends on the developer strategy that they are going to use. So you can definitely then select something that could potentially give you an advantage when you exit in future. So C3 actually gives you the flexibility depending on the launch date.
Okay. So actually our top pick for 3-bedroom, right, is C2. If let's say the prices between C2 and C3, C2 is a lot more affordable as compared to C3. But if let's say the prices are pretty near, we would actually go for the type C3. Okay.
But if you're budget constrained, then maybe just go for the C1.
Okay, so then we'll be doing a comparison with Revell. Why for Revell is because Revell starting from 3-bedroom onwards. Okay, and so we have to know that the Pinery TOP is actually in 2030, whereas for Revell, this is not TOP, this is MOP. Okay, MOP is only the time when they can sell. It's in 2035. So this is something that we need to take note of. Okay, if let's say we are buying into the 3-bedroom, why is it so? It's because if you are talking about C3 at 72 square feet, if you are talking about assuming it's 2,350 PSF onwards, right, it's going to be at 2.04 mil already. Okay, but for people who is going to buy into Revell, okay, assuming that at 1,009 square feet, right, they're only buying the C1 unit at about 1.677 million. Okay, and if you look at the floor plan, right, for C3 and C1 wise, okay, the square feet actually about 11 square feet difference. Okay, for Pinery C3 is 872 square feet. For Revell C1 is at 883 square feet. But the only difference is that Revell has household shelter right here, and then they have an extra WC right here. Okay, if not, the bedrooms are pretty much the same also. Okay, quite similar. Okay, and then they have a master bedroom. Okay, and the kitchen and the bathroom all have windows, all right here. Okay, but the thing about Revell is that the dining space is not as dedicated. Yeah, if you go and see the show flat today, you can actually see that the dining space is actually quite crowded. Even though they put here 6-seater,
actually I don't really like the idea of when you come into the home, you should see
the dining
table in front, because I think Signature at Yishun also have such layout for their units. I find it weird when you open up your dining table, it's just right in front. So it's a bit awkward. But why are we showing you this slide? Because most important, other than the layouts, we have to be very mindful, as you mentioned, of the exit timing. Because we have the Revell ECs, but the question here is whether buying into Pinery, will we definitely make money or not? But we can't guarantee you whether you will make a lot of money or not. But the key thing over here is we want to identify the MOP of the ECs in the area, which is why you mentioned Revell MOP is in 2035. But another thing to think of is Oriel of Tampines, right, is also going to MOP sometime in 2032, which is about 2 years after we TOP. And that's the reason why you should probably avoid the AOT, or rather Oriel of Tampines MOP, so they sell before them, because otherwise it will be a
so your opportunity to sell
is that 2 years
and gain a profit is actually during that 2 years time where the competition is not up yet.
That's right.
So 2.04 mil and 1.67 mil, it's about 300 plus 400k difference. So that's something that you need to take a note of lah. Then we actually deep dive into what is the price gap between the integrated development and the condo nearby. So we actually took this Treasure Trove and also Watertown. So Watertown is actually an integrated development at Punggol. Okay, across the street is actually Treasure Trove. So we realized that actually the during the launch day, the PSF difference is about 27%. Okay, right till now, right, the PSF difference, right, is about 28% there.
20%.
Yeah. So as long as if you are buying into a mix, okay, that is about 28% difference, I feel that it's still quite safe already. Okay. So next thing is mixed at Yishun is actually
it's an EC.
So this is an EC. The difference is about 36%. So this is the norm that we are seeing out there right now. Definitely there will always be a gap in terms of the pricing. So we need to be sure that we are still within the differences and not be overpaying for their mixed development.
Correct. So the thing is that we're not saying that Wisteria is actually better because in fact Signature EC is the one that make more money. There was a 36% gap where it used to be . So today how much gap are we having? So if today the gap is lower than the previous 36%, does that mean that Pinery is still is not overpriced? So I'm trying to say that because now Pinery price, Revell price, what is the gap at? So we are providing you this with all this number, right? It's because so that you can make better decision.
So we talk about the 3-bedroom premium layout. Okay, so for the 3-bedroom premium layout, okay, start from the C4 unit. Okay, so it's 990 square feet. So this for 3-bedroom premium as compared to the 3-bedroom deluxe, the differences is that now we have a household shelter right here. Okay, so for all the units right here. Okay, so coming here, you have an enclosable kitchen and then you have a WC. Okay, and then you have a household shelter within the kitchen itself. Okay, you have the dedicated dining space right here and then the living space right here. You have 2 common bedrooms, okay, that can comfortably put a queen size bed. Okay, 1 common bathroom and 1 master bathroom, and it's an ensuite to the master bedroom. Okay, so if you realize that, so kitchen and the bathroom, they all have windows. Okay, for C5 unit, it's slightly bigger at 1012 square feet. Okay, the difference is the
foyer
area, that's number 1. Okay, the second difference is the master bedroom. If you realize that the master bedroom layout is slightly different as compared to this one. Okay?
Yeah, 1 bedroom that's facing inwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then for the C6 unit, right, it's quite similar to the C4 unit. Only difference is whereby the walkway entrance is slightly longer, and which this gives you the difference in terms of the 3 square feet.
So it's not too much of a difference. And ultimately I think it boils down to which one is available
on booking day
itself.
Or during your turn.
Yes, so that you play into the USP and yet you also don't want to be paying too much of premium during the booking day.
Okay, so actually our top pick for the 3-bedroom is actually C4. Okay, why? Because it's the most efficient use of space. So when we talk about the 3-bedroom, we actually look at the 3-bedroom study, okay, of Revell. Okay, so similarly, you have to be mindful of when is the opportunity for you to let go of your unit. Okay, as Pinery TOP 2030 and Revell EC MOP at 2035. Okay, in terms of the for the C4 unit is at 990 square feet, whereas for the C2S unit at Revell is about at 926 square feet.
The layout, not much of a difference. But the thing is, Revell, I noticed that they don't have a proper dining area. Right, and then as a mixed development over here at Pinery, right, we may have ever. So maybe some in future when the TOP and MOP, right, even if although we are a street one another, people may still want the direct access. There'll be people who still wants to prefer to have this. So from just now we mentioned about 1,900 PSF, right, for Revell, and at about
2250. Now that we've seen the
23XX plus then we have a 25% gap.
Yes.
So EC to a mixed development, we have a 25% gap. Earlier we mentioned EC Signature at Yishun, right, to Wisteria, the gap was actually almost about 37%, 36-37%, and then the EC did better in terms of the resale, right? But now the gap we are comparing Treasure Trove and Watertown, the gap it was about 27-28% you mentioned. But now with a gap of 25% for mixed development and EC, does that mean that mixed development is safe? I feel that it's a safe price or safe gap to enter into. Yeah, because the gap is narrow already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we look at the 3-bedroom plus study layout. So for the 3-bedroom plus study layout in Pinery, it's C7, okay, at 1055 square feet. Okay. The similarly, as compared to the 3-bedroom,
You have the study that's next
you
to
have the study that is next inside the master bedroom itself. So this is the major difference that we're looking at. Okay. Then you already have the WC and the household shelter in the kitchen. So when we talk about the 3-bedroom plus study, right, we actually do draw a comparison with the 4-bedroom in Resale EC. Why is it so? It's because we realize that in terms of pricing, right, it's actually quite narrow. If you can buy Resale EC, right, you save about 300 to 400K difference.
Yeah, so actually this won't be our top choice lah. If the developer will be based on the what's that called, the loading, sorry, not loading, the larger floor plate kind of loadings, right, on the bigger units, then I will definitely use the smaller 3-bedder, which is about 872 square feet. Because why 872? I think that was a C3.
Yes.
Yeah. So C3 or 872 square feet will have more facing to choose from.
Because if you buy into the 3-bedroom plus, you need to make sure that your purchase price is not too far away from the 4-bedroom, because eventually next time if you're going to exit in the future, if let's say your 3-bedroom plus study price is quite similar to the 4-bedroom prices, then in Resale, right, then it becomes a problem, because people would actually gravitate towards a 4. Okay. So now we talk about the 4-bedroom layout. Okay, for 4-bedroom layout at D1 1141 square feet. Okay, coming in here, okay, you have enclosable kitchen area, okay, with a storeroom area right here, okay, and a WC right here.
Actually, the storeroom area, if you notice that wall seems to be able to be hacked.
It's hackable.
Right, hackable, right.
Hackable.
So if you were to break the storeroom away, this increase the dining area space, as well as your dining living area may appear to look more spacious. So this gives a very luxurious kind of feeling.
Okay, and you realize that actually the dining area can actually put 8-seater right here already. Yeah, so eventually if you remove this store area, right, you can potentially put the dining area right here. Okay, so then you have a living space, okay, and then you have 4 bedrooms in total, okay, 3 common bedroom, okay, and 1 master bedroom with the ensuite toilet. Yep. Okay, then after you talk about the 4-bedroom premium plus study, okay, for 4-bedroom premium plus study, right, for D at 115 square feet, okay, come in here where the difference, right, lies in this area, where the study area right behind the living area, and they have a wider balcony.
So it kind of make it look like a landscape kind of living area, which is very similar to maybe Emerald of Katong. Pretty good, as the living room side is very spacious because it's landscape. Yeah. So if pricing is not going to be an issue for you, right, then we will definitely prefer this kind of layout. But if this 1195 square feet, 50 square feet more, but yet we get a better feeling than this D1, then maybe I feel that I will go for this.
Yeah, because when you enter, it's very grand because the living and study space is actually quite huge. Then you can eventually, right, put the dining space right behind here also, and you still don't feel that it's very cramped. Yeah, so I feel that if possible, can go for the D2 layout. Okay, the D3 layout wise, the size is about 1227 square feet. Okay, the difference between D2 and D3, right, is actually this entranceway right here only.
D4 maybe gives you more privacy
because they have a more of like a L-shaped entranceway right
But the
here.
thing is, I think more or less the layout is about the same. So if given a choice, our top choice for the 4-bedroom premium plus study, I feel that we will definitely go for the D2, because in terms of the sizing, 1195 square feet as compared to 1227 D3 and D4 123, actually the difference is not a lot. And then you are getting the same layout, almost the same. The difference is just really at the 4 area. So I feel that maybe you would want to consider D2.
So the other one will be the 4-bedroom luxury plus study layout. Okay, will be the D5, type D5 at 1389 square feet. Okay, so this area, there will be a dedicated dry kitchen right here. Okay, similarly, you come in, be a lot of privacy lah, because you won't be able to see the whole entire living and dining space. Okay, so then there will be a dedicated dry kitchen right here, and there will be a segregated wet kitchen right here, including a household shelter and your WC. And the dining area is actually quite huge.
Yep.
Yeah, and we like this landscape living and
there is also a third bedroom with a junior suite,
master.
right?
Yeah.
And then the master also is with a walk-in wardrobe. Yeah. But our top choice here today, I feel that if you are going for a 4-bedder, D1 will be a better choice because in this location, people are more of looking into convenience and functionality rather than luxury lah. Because if people who are looking into luxury, I think the demographic of people who are looking more into luxury kind of layout will be maybe for people more in maybe East Coast area. Yeah, correct.
Because if you talk about Tampines area, we are most likely talking about the upgraders.
Yes.
So for upgraders wise, I think 4-bedroom is quite a popular choice for them. But it's just that would 4-bedroom luxury plus study be a stretch for them?
Yeah, because D5 might be out of range, and because if D5 the 1389 square feet, right? If you're going for it, I mean, you might as well maybe want to consider the E1 instead, which is about 1475 square feet. Later we'll be touching on it. Yeah. So in terms of the exit strategy, 4-bedroom luxury, yeah, versus the Revel, right? Yeah, because Revel we have the E1.
So Revel wise, if we compare it with Revel, it's a Revel 5-bedroom, okay, at 1378 square feet. So if you are talking about the D1 at 1141 square feet, right, which is the smallest 4-bedroom at 2.567 million, you need to be very sure that you are buying into the unique selling point of the development. If not, there won't be any advantage to you. Yeah, because why? Even for the 5-bedroom in Revel, okay, likely the prices is going to be 2.6 million onwards.
Yes.
Yeah, which is quite near to Pinery already.
Yes, and their area is so much larger.
Yeah. So if you see, like, they have actually a landscape living and dining space right here, and they still have an extra bedroom right here. So you need to be very safe lah. Yeah. So you need to be a bit more price sensitive in this case. Okay. So the 5-bedroom luxury layout. Okay, for 5-bedroom luxury layout, okay, you come in here, this will be the wet kitchen, okay, household shelter, and then the WC area. You still have a dry kitchen right here. Okay, very good dining space. Okay, very wide living space as well. Okay, in total you have 5 bedrooms, okay, 3 common, okay, and 1 junior master. Okay, and then a master bedroom.
Actually, the layout is really functional. It's very luxurious, and really there's nothing much to discuss about here. This layout actually is really rational and luxurious. Yeah, but in terms of the pricing, of course, much higher. And then over here we have the starting from price provided just by the developer.
Yes.
And they are starting from about 2340 PSF. Yeah.
So preview will start on 14th of March all the way to 24th of March. So because we have been discussing a lot about Pinery and Revel, and it feels like Revel seems like a better buy. But Revel wise, it really depends on your eligibility conditions, whether you can satisfy the eligibility to buy an EC. If not, do you think that Pinery can still buy or not?
I feel that people can consider buy because why? Of course, we can take into consideration the government land sale over here, and the next plot that we are talking about is going to be the one at the Bedok Rise, and you can see in terms of the price that the developer have bidded at, how much was it at? Yeah.
So the prices that the developers have bidded at, right, in terms of PSF PPR Rise is about 1330, as compared to in terms of Pinery, okay, it's 1004 square feet. Okay, so in terms of the amenities wise, right, it's pretty much similar. Why is it so? It's because for Pinery Rise, right, it's at Tampines West MRT station, whereas for Bedok Rise, right, it's also opposite Tanah Merah MRT station. The difference is that Tampines West MRT station is underground, whereas for Tanah Merah MRT station, right, is above ground. Okay, so if you look at the break-even price, for Pinery is 1823 PSF. Okay? So The developer actually launched it at about 2340 PSF. Okay, so imagine if you missed Pinery, eventually if you go and buy into Bedok Rise, how much will you be paying into?
And they are already at about 1,300 PSF PPR, right?
Yeah.
Correct. For Real Modern, the developer also bidded on Guaco Land, also bidded on the higher end of a 13XX PSF. And they already done starting from price from about 2,800 plus to about 3,500.
Yes.
Right. So does that mean that Bedok Rise will start from similar price? Lowest price starting from maybe 228 thereabout.
And likely starting from 28.
Yeah, there's a good possibility lah. Yeah. So I feel that over here we still have another layer of the safety net.
Safety net, yeah. So if you are looking for east side, I feel that Pinery Residence is something that you shouldn't miss. If not, you will be buying into something more expensive in the future. Okay. So if let's say you like our content, you can actually scan our QR code right here to contact us. And I hope that you get a bit more insights about Pinery Residences, and you know where the sweet spot is, and also know what is your exit strategy in the future.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's very important, like you mentioned, to identify the developer pricing strategy. Within the start of the launch. Again, you won't be getting the full list of price list, right? So you must really which unit is at what kind of price.
Yes.
So you're able to know how to select the unit by understanding the developer pricing strategy. So you know where the premium is exactly going to be at. Yeah, so you must identify this question, know how to ask question to your agent so that he or she can provide you with the numbers that you want. Yeah, so because when you know all these, you will know which stacks to avoid. Yeah, and then
stack to buy into.
Which stack to buy into. Yeah. So if you are still concerned about if your current agent or friend are able to identify all these on the launch day, we'll be happy to share our strategies with you, like how we select a units for our client, right?
So this is the end of our Pinery Residences project video. So if you like our video, please like and subscribe, and it will be very helpful to us.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you at the next episode then.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.